NAS. NAS is open to multiple exploits, including virus worms, unauthorized access, snooping, and data tampering. Various security mechanisms are implemented in NAS to secure data and the storage networking infrastructure. Permissions and ACLs form the first level of protection to NAS resources by restricting accessibility and sharing. These permissions are deployed over and above the default behaviors and attributes associated with files and folders. Authentication and authorization mechanisms are Kerberos and directory services, which includes identity verification, and firewalls, which includes protection from unauthorized access and malicious attacks. NAS file sharing, Windows ACL. Types of ACLs that come across is discretionary access controls, which include commonly referred as ACL, used to determine access control. Then the next one is system access control list, which determines what access needs to be audited if auditing is enabled. The next one is object ownership. Object owner has hard-coded rights to that object. Rights do not have to explicitly granted in SACL. Child objects within a parent object automatically inherit the ACLs. SIDS. ACLs apply to directory objects. User ID, log ID is a textual representation of true SIDs. Automatically created when a user or group is created. NAS file sharing, Unix permission. User. A logical entity for assigning of ownership and operation privileges, can be either a person or a system operation, can be organized in one or more groups. Permissions tell Unix what can be done with that file by whom. Common permissions are read, write, execute. Every file and directory has 3 access permissions: write for file owner, write for group, and write for all others in the faculty. File or directory permissions look like owner, group, or others. NAS file sharing, authentication and authorization. In a file sharing environment, NAS devices use standard file sharing protocols, NFS and CIFS. Therefore, authentication and authorization are implemented and supported on NAS device in the same way as in the Unix or Windows sharing environment. Authentication requires verifying the identity of a network user and therefore involves a login credential lookup on the network information system server in the Unix environment. Authorization defines user privileges in a network. The authorization techniques for Unix user and Windows user are quite different. Unix files use mode bits to define access rights, which is granted to owners, groups, and other users, whereas Windows use an ACL to allow or deny any specific rights to a particular user for a particular file. You have a diagrammatic representation for this with Windows client, Unix client, and NAS device, which provides authentication for the same. Kerberos, a network authentication protocol which provides strong authentication for client-server applications by using secret key cryptography. A client can prove its identity to a server across an insecure network connection. In Kerberos, authentications occur between clients and server. The client gets a ticket from a server for a server, and the server decrypts the ticket by using its secret key. An entity that gets a service ticket for a Kerberos service is called as Kerberos client. The term Kerberos server generally refers to the key distribution center. The KDC implements the authentication service and ticket granting service. The KDC has a copy of every password associated with every principal, so it is absolutely vital that KDC remains secure. In Kerberos, users and servers for which a secret key is stored in the KDC database are known as principals. Kerberos authentication process. The user logs on to the workstation in the Active Directory domain using an ID and a password. The client computer sends a request to the AS running on the KDC for a Kerberos ticket. The KDC verifies the user login information from Active Directory. The KDC responds with an encrypted ticket granting ticket and an encrypted session key. TGT has limited validity period. TGT can be decrypted only by the KDC. and the client can decrypt only the session key. When the client requests a service from a user, it sends a request consisting of personally generated TGT encrypted with the session key and the resource information to the KDC. The KDC checks the permission in Active Directory and ensures that the user is authorized to the service. The KDC returns a service ticket to the client. This service ticket contains fields addressed to the client and to the server hosting the service. The client then sends the service ticket to the server and then houses the required resources. The server, in this case the NAS device, decrypts the server portion of the ticket and stores information in a key tab file. As long as the client's Kerberos ticket is valid, this authorization process does not need to be repeated. The server automatically allows the client to access the appropriate resources. A client server session is now established. The server returns a session ID to the client, which tracks the client actively, such as file logging, as long as the session is active. We have a diagrammatic representation for Kerberos authentication authorization, where we have the elements as Windows client, KDC, Active Directory and NAS device, which forms the common internet file system. Network layer firewalls. Because NAS devices utilize the internet protocol stack, they are vulnerable to various attacks initiated through the public IP network. Network layer firewalls are implemented in the NAS environments to protect the NAS devices from these security threats. These network layer firewalls can examine a network packets and compare them to a set of configured security rules. Packets that are not authorized by a security rule are dropped and not allowed to continue to the destination. Rules can be established based on a source address, destination address, port, or combination of those factors. A demilitarized zone is commonly used in network environment. This zone provides a means to secure internal assets while allowing internet-based access to various resources. In this environment, server that needs to be accessed through an internet are placed between two sets of firewalls. Application specific ports such as HTTP or FTP are allowed through a firewall to the DMZ servers. However, no internet based traffic is allowed to penetrate the second set of firewalls and gain access to the network. We have a diagrammatic representation for this demilitarized zones.